Hello everyone, my name is Betsy and today I'm going to be showing you how to create this nice chain link pattern. I am going to use some grid paper or some graph paper, dot paper, anything like that that you have. So you might want to get that, your favorite pen, and also a pencil. So this is actually very achievable. You can definitely do this on your own. So stick around and I will show you how to create this nice pattern. So to get started on this pattern, I like to start working with some of this graph paper. Now, of course, I have plenty of this. I believe this is a 1/4 inch graph paper. So what this means is that 4 squares are equal to an inch. You can use any other kind of graph paper if you'd like to download some. There's always some available. You can just Google it and find graph paper or dot grid paper. And so that's what I'm going to use is 1/4 inch graph paper, and I'll show you how I get started here. Alright, so to get started, I'm just going to be using a Sharpie Ultra Fine Point Permanent Marker, and I'm going to start by creating these hexagonal shapes here, and I'll show you what the measurements of these are. So working inside of the grid here, I'm going to get started by just making a vertical line. So let me align this so it's easier for you to see. So I'm going to make a vertical line of 2 units, like that. And then I'm going to make a 45-degree line of also 2 units, so like that. And then from this point here, I will go 2 units downward like this, so it's a diagonal. So diagonal up and then diagonal down. 2 units straight down. And then so I'm just going to repeat this shape but mirror it down here. So from this bottom line it'll be 2 units diagonally and then 2 units diagonally. So this is a 6-sided shape. We're going to be working with this exact same shape for the entirety of this pattern, so just get familiar with it. We're going to be using it a handful more times. So this is where we're going to repeat it. So you want to skip 2 boxes and we are going to repeat this same shape right next to it. So again, make sure you're skipping 2 boxes. And so if you want to do it the other way, notice that this is 4 boxes wide. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's where this goes. And then the diagonals go up on top like that to create kind of like the roof of a house. We're going to make them on the bottom. So when you have 2 of these that are next to each other, above, we're going to make another one that's right above it. So what I want you to do is count. So right here where these 2 connect, go up 1 unit right here. And from there you're going to make one of these shapes again. So I'm going to make it right here. So a diagonal of 2 units this way. Diagonal this way. So notice this is like the bottom of one of these. So I'm going to do a 2 unit verticals here and here. So those go up. And then we're going to close off the top just like the others. So a diagonal and another diagonal. So this is what we're going to repeat. Let me erase this right here. And so we're just going to continue adding those in that order. How about I put one over here? So here. And if you aren't accustomed to using graph paper, you might want to make sure you're paying close attention to where you're putting your lines. Maybe you can draw them in with some pencil, just so that you are taking your time, really paying attention, and just kind of enjoying the process. You don't have to rush any of this. So you'll notice I'm just adding them, just making dots where I know the next ones will go. You can always do that. You'll start to notice patterns here and there, and you're welcome to just repeat them however you see fit. So I'm just adding a few more, making sure there we go. I'm going to add a few more down here just so that we can continue to see the pattern. So here, That looks pretty nice. And then I'll add these diagonals. I've got another one here. So just keep in mind it's always 2 units. 2 units diagonally and 2 units vertically. And I will just do one more here. I think that's a pretty good size to start with. And then I'll add a partial here just to, okay, so that's pretty good. And just to kind of complete that, I'm going to add these over here as well. Why not? This way and maybe just right here. So these are just partials just so that it kind of looks like we have this zone nice and clean and tidy. Okay. And then I'll just close this off or finish this off right here. So I think that looks pretty good so far. And so now I'm going to use this. I'm going to be adding a few lines throughout to create a look of a chain link. Okay, so we're going to start adding some lines here, and where I want us to work is on this row right here. So on these are the lines that we're going to create. So what I want you to do is find this point right here, and you're going to connect it straight over here like this. So from this point to this point, just make a diagonal line connecting them right there, like that. So once you have that one in, then you're going to draw a line connecting these right here, like so. And although I know nothing is up here, just mirror that on the other side. So from this, make a diagonal up to there. We'll play with that later. And so what I want you to do is go over here to these next few that we have here. We're going to do the same thing. So connect from this bottom one to this top one, straight across. Connect these two diagonally as well. And then you're going to add another one up here. Even though there's nothing there, just make a diagonal that heads up that way. Okay, we're going to do it one more time over here. So connect the bottom one to the top one. Make this imaginary one, and then these two connect, just like that. So these are all going in the same direction up here. You can actually just continue doing that over here, so pay attention to the way this one looks, and we're going to replicate it here. So it looks like there's 1, 2, and that 3 is already there. There, there, and that one's already there. So that's what it's going to look like. So now that we've done that, what we're going to do is we're going to come back down here to this next row. We're going to do something very similar. We're just going to turn it around. So whereas before you were going from the bottom to the top, now instead we're going to go from the top to the bottom. So let's do that. So it is diagonal, top to the bottom. So we did that. And now we're going to make a little line up here, also from top to bottom. It's going to connect at a 45-degree angle. And then the one below down here, also from top to bottom. So it's the same pattern. All we did was change the direction. So now for these other two that are along this same row, we're going to do the same thing. So from top to bottom here, top to bottom here, and then top to bottom here. That's the second one. And now we're going to do this third one. So same thing, diagonally, this way, and like so. So there we have all 3 of them. And also we can try the same thing right here. We only have a partial view, but we can complete the same look. So it's this one right here in the middle. Goes this way. Looks like there's going to be one here like this. We're just mirroring what we see here. And then this one is already here, the one that goes this way. So they are complete now. Now we can go down to the next one, and guess what? Just like last time, all we're going to do is change the direction. So now what we're actually mirroring is the same one that we had done at the very beginning. So let's do that here. So instead we're going from the bottom to the top this way. and this way. And we can add one right here. We're going to do that again with the last two. So here it's going to go from bottom to top, here, here, and here. And we're going to do this one right here. 1, 2, 3. And we'll just mirror it over here, even though it's incomplete. We'll just add a little line here. Close this one off here. So you can see that what we have here is this really nice kind of chain link pattern. So it's starting to look pretty nice. So what you can do is just continue adding here just to kind of complete everything else that's going on. So I'm going to take a few minutes to add some more here, and then I will show you some ways, some easy ways to add some shading just to really give it some more dimension. Alright, so here I have the page. It is fully completed. I filled it all in, and now I would like to show you really quickly how it is that I do some of the shading. So in order to do the shading, I'm just going to be using a regular pencil this time. So I'm just going to keep it fairly simple. So this is just a HB2, my favorite, the Ticonderoga pencil. So I'm just going to be doing some shading right in here. So let's zoom in a little bit so that we can really see what's going on here. So in each one of these segments right here, where I want to be doing just a little shading is right here. So how about we do it this way? And I'm just gonna let it fade out in that direction. I'm going to do the same thing over here, but in the opposite direction. So I'm gonna let it mirror that way. So that's the way I'm gonna do those two. And so anywhere where it seems like it's hiding behind, so like right here, I'll do a little shading there. So there. And same thing up here. Go from dark to light, like so. And then you can kind of start seeing where those spots are. So over here, here's another spot. It seems like it's going behind. Same thing right here. And then we're just going to continue using those same locations pretty much throughout the whole thing, and you're going to give it a whole lot more dimension. You can also try this if you have more time, use some stippling or maybe use some markers, but right now if you just want to do some simple practice with your shading, this is a good chance to use a pencil and just kind of practice getting a nice little gradient. You can always come in and use something to do some blending. Sometimes I just use my finger like this. So just really simple, and then I'll just come in with the eraser and clean up the other sides where I didn't want it to be too messy. So it's pretty simple, so you don't really need any special tools, but you can always use a blending stump. So this is it. This is pretty much how I use this, how I do some shading, and that's pretty much it for this pattern. So it's a nice chain link design. Very achievable with a little bit of graph paper. Let me know what you think of this one. If you enjoy it, you can always do it much smaller if you use a smaller squares or anything like that. Let me know how you feel about this. I hope that you enjoy this. Give it a try. And I hope that you have an excellent day today. And I will see you next week on Monday. Hope you have a good weekend. Bye-bye.